All right, I'm wearing a T-shirt that was sent to me by a subscriber to the hockey channel, and my wonderful, lovely San Diego hat. Now, what I got here was I got a box of Donruss from 1989. I know these cards are worth like $10 a set, so why not just get the set? Because I like to not know what's going to be in the pack, and I like to have fun with that. It's got the Warren Spawn puzzle, which I don't remember collecting it. What's weird is I know I had these cards. I know these cards were dirt cheap. I'm trying to remember exactly where I was buying them, but I know I was buying them at a local store. So this is in Canada. You were able to buy baseball cards relatively easily because we had the Expos and the Blue Jays, and there was definitely some interest in baseball. All right, so yeah, they're actual puzzle pieces too. It has 3 pieces of the Warren Spawn puzzle. Now you'll see on the back it's one piece. Did anybody actually collect this and take it apart and put it together? Because I can't imagine I would do that. Ernest Riles from the Giants. Been with the Brewers before that. So there you go. San Francisco's the first one to get, and I got San Diego and St. Louis. But it's an S. This crossed with an F. I will say that a lot of logos in baseball do kind of look similar. Adam Peterson of the Chicago White Sox. He had only played 3 games. Innings pitched 6. Earned runs 9. Youch. Yeah, that ERA 13. I will say this, consistent 13.5 ERA in 1987 and 1988, although it was only over 3 games. Kevin Brown of the Rangers, and this is card number 613. I think this set had 700 cards in it. Terry Clark, there's another pitcher, card number 607. There's a checklist that goes all the way up to 577. Steve Ontiveros, 35 games, 151 innings pitched. Does this give games started? This doesn't give games started. That's weird. It doesn't give you their records at the end, too. So their win-loss record is actually at the far end. That's a backwards way of doing it. I like the way that Top/Opeachy did it better. It doesn't give you games started. That is bizarre. I mean, it gives you their innings pitched, which is nice and all. Missed 6 weeks of 88 with an elbow injury. Third on A's and wins in 87. He had 10 wins that year. All right. Yes. MVP for the Chicago White Sox, Ozzie Guillen. So, yeah, we all know who Ozzie Guillen is, right? Everybody knows who Ozzie Guillen is. Oh, Curt Schilling. I don't know if this is a rookie card. I would think it might be. 4 games pitched. That was his first year in baseball with the Orioles. 0-3 record, 9.82 ERA. No hint of what Mr. Schilling would become. And all I think of with Schilling is the sock, right? For you guys know what I'm talking about. Boston, right? All right. San Diego, Tony Gwynn. So Donruss Diamond Kings number 6. And John William Moses, who had a 316 batting average. Yeah, these cards, just the way that they put the stats is weird. Yeah, that's really strange. Because, again, the stats are in a completely different order than I'm used to seeing them in. They got the walks and the strikeouts at the end. And this, yeah, okay. Again, I'm used to the Opeachies. All right, here's another 3 pieces of the Warren Spawn puzzle. So, yeah, again, it's bizarre. Steve Jeltz, Philadelphia Phillies. It's a nice jersey right there. I don't remember if I have Phillies or not. I know I have a bunch. I've been looking for them, actually. Yes. Rob Dibble. Rob Dibble of the Reds. I'm sorry I'm bringing these up sideways. It's because the stats line's on the back that way. 1 win, 1 loss. 59 innings pitched, 37 games, 1.82 ERA. And he just looks mean right there. Chad Kreuter of the Texas Rangers. I get an Expo. I was hoping for an Expo, and it's Tracy Jones, who played 90 games, 295 batting average. He'd come over from the Reds. 3 home runs, 18 steals. Not bad. I don't really remember very much about him. Glenn Hubbard for the Athletics. Louis DeSantos. See, pitchers. I'm really into pitchers. Bud Black. Cleveland there. 4-4 that year in 33 games. 257 innings pitched. So this is after he's gone into the bullpen. Didn't he have a resurgence as a starter though after that? I thought he did. Jeff Hamilton for the LA Dodgers. Hal Morris, 100 batting average, 15 games, 20 at-bats, 2 hits, 1 run in, and 9 strikeouts, no walks. So Hal Morris, he's swinging away. You don't care. I don't walk. It's not what I do. Tom Bolton, no relation to Michael. Of course, I hear Bolton and I think about Office Space in my head. 6'3", 175 pounds. See, this is where it's different from hockey, too. You don't hear about, he's going to have to bulk up if he's going to stand the rigors of baseball. Eventually, baseball players usually do bulk up a little bit. Oh, it's the same mouth I just showed you. 3 packs have got the same puzzle pieces for both packs. There you go. So, if you want an extra piece of Warren Spawn's mouth, just let me know at warrenspawnsmouth@gmail.com. I'm just kidding. That's not a real thing. Yes. New York Yankees, Dave Winfield. Why does this guy's smile look so strained? Ted Power. There are a lot of pitchers in this set. Like, I would say probably half the cards I've pulled so far are pitchers. From the New York Mets, you guys will remember this guy. Darryl Strawberry. So this is when his stats were still pretty good. See, this is where Moneyball kind of comes into it. The idea that the A's got into, that he had 39 home runs and 101 RBIs, but his batting average was 269. Now, they don't give slugging because Donruss, for whatever reason, didn't find on-base percentage to be important. I always did, though. I always thought it was interesting to me, the guys that got on base all the time. I always thought that was pretty cool, but everybody paid attention to the power and the sexy numbers, the stolen bases and all that. Terry Kennedy, catcher for the Orioles. Chicago White Sox. That was an ugly logo, wasn't it? That was an ugly one. Yeah, it was. And White Sox jerseys have had their moments too. Diamond Kings, Gerald Perry, first baseman for the Braves. Danny Jackson, pitcher for the Reds. He had 23 wins that year, led the majors, 15 complete games, 6 shutouts. Had Cy Young caliber season in his first season in the National League. He'd come over from the Royals. Ranking first in NL wins, 10th in ERA, and first in complete games. I miss when you'd see 15 complete games. I do. I understand that now, you got to baby pitchers, and they got to have 12 days rest, and preferably in a sensory deprivation tank. I miss when they were workhorses. Like, for instance, Bert Blyleven here, who led the league in earned runs, which is not a good thing to be number one in. 125 earned runs, 5.43 ERA with the Twins that year, 10-17 record, but 254 career wins, 226 losses at that stage in his career, 611 games pitched. All right, Blue Jays, Kelly Gruber. I remember Kelly Gruber. Henry Cotto of the Mariners. And, a question that I get a lot is, well, you're close to Seattle. Don't you cheer for the Mariners? Not really, no. I sort of cheered for them when they had that run that looked like they were going to get to the pennant. Remember the same year that you see the Moneyball year when the Mariners were really good? I thought they had a chance, and that era they didn't win it, and it just felt like they never would after that. Did I get the same one? Oh, no, I didn't get the mouth again. Sorry, if you wanted a third mouth, you guys are in deep. I don't even know what that means on that one. John Tudor, pitch, traded from the Cardinals to the Dodgers, and they make it so it says CRD to DOD, so he was a Curdod that year. So Curdod, John Tudor. And no now with, and no airbrushing either. That's just too bad. I remember him for the Yankees, Don Slott. I do remember some of these names, especially the pitchers, though. I don't know what it is about pitching. I used to, when I was a kid, I had one of those little foam baseballs. So it wasn't an actual baseball, it was a foam baseball. I could throw it with some velocity, too. And I got pretty good at throwing a curve. I taught myself to curve. I taught myself split finger. And it's one of those things that just being a kid watching TV and hearing what they were talking about, I'd be like, okay, and I would go out and practice in my yard. I never, again, if I was American, if I had been an American kid, I'm telling you right now, A, I would have played organized baseball, and B, I don't know that I would have been into hockey at all. Because at times during my life, I've definitely been preferential towards baseball. Only the one home run, 65 RBIs, 283 batting average, 612 at bats for Marty Barrett of the Red Sox. Detroit Tigers, Doyle Alexander, 528 games played at that point, 188 wins, 156 losses. He's Tigers property at that stage. Yep, still shows Tigers. Rob Deere. I remember Rob Deere. Oh, yeah, Rob Deere. 23 home runs, 85 runs batted in. Interestingly enough, he led the league in strikeouts 2 years in a row, 186, 153. I seem to remember that was kind of his calling card, that Rob Deere was either over the fence or he was back in the box, or back in the dugout. Darryl Strawberry, MVP. I would think this is before all of the Darryl Strawberry controversy, because he's playing full seasons at that stage. I would think that's maybe that's after controversy, because he had 111 in 85. All the controversial stuff with him. Neil Heaton, Expos. I remember him. 3-10 that year. He'd been 13-10 the year before. Yep, switched to bullpen in 88 because he wasn't very effective. His ERA went from 4.52 to 4.99. Steve Rosenberg pitching for the White Sox, and he looks like he's pitching for the White Sox at that stage. He looks like he's aware he's pitching for the White Sox, that this is his life now. 33 games, 46 innings pitched, 1 save, 1 loss, 4.3 ERA, which isn't bad. A's, Devon White. It's nice to see guys before their J's in here, too. Devon White, 259 batting average, but man, he could field. For the Astros, looking like maybe he's the wrong guy in the picture. Maybe it's somebody else they got for the picture, and he's trying to explain, I'm not actually the guy. I've tried to explain to you guys, I'm not Gerald Young. All right, take the picture. Those Astros jerseys were nice too. I like those Astros jerseys. I know they've been wearing the ones with the big stripes on them, which I was always partial to, because when I was a kid, I liked the Canucks, right, which is the flying V. And the Houston Astros with the giant stripes, which is as close to a flying V as I could find in pro baseball. All right, there's the chest underneath the mouth. So again, when it says 3 pieces, they're kind of lying to you. It's basically, you don't have to split them up. Mark Clear, another pitcher for the Brewers. Yep, Darrell Evans. I remember Darrell Evans. 208. See, again, this is where, so there's Darrell Evans of Detroit. 208 batting average, but 22 home runs, 64 runs batted in. 1985, he led Major League Baseball with 40. He led all of Major League Baseball with 40 home runs that year. So 403 career home runs at that stage, 1,315 runs batted in, and a career batting average of 249. Why do these guys look so uncomfortable? Did they not tell them they were taking the picture? Here's Wally Joyner with the A's. And again, he sort of looks like, just let me know when you're ready. What do you mean you're done? Wait, when did you take the picture? You can't use that. I signed what? For the Expos, Louis Rivera. I'm excited to have Expos cards. Yes, I want the Expos back. Chicago White Sox, again, pitcher. Bill Long. It says William Douglas Long on the back. A's, another pitcher. Willie Fraser. That makes sense. You get 5 starters. You got to think, what, 4 or 5 pretty decent guys out of the bullpen, not including your setup guy and your closer. Astros, Craig Biggio. And that, sadly, that chest protector covers up all of the wonderfulness of the jersey. Or wait, that would have been after. The stripes are on the shoulders at that point. That was after they took them off the midriff. From left field, William Timothy Jones, or just Tim Jones. From the Flyers, Darren Dalton. And from the Reds, pitcher, Norm Charlton. Don't worry, I'm not doing the whole box. No, I promise. There's one guy I really kind of wanted to pull out of this box. There's one guy. One guy I was like, man, if I can get him, that'd be great. Just to have that in mint condition. Okay, there's another 3 pieces, of course, of Warren Spahn. Oh, nice. For the Blue Jays, Todd Stottlemyre. I liked Stottlemyre a lot. Now, his rookie year, 5.69 ERA, 46 walks, 67 strikeouts. Not a fantastic number there, but again, his rookie year, and he was 4-8. Won a spot in Blue Jays rotation in '88. Also pitched long relief. Was 11-13 with a 4.44 ERA and 143 strikeouts, and 186 and 2/3 innings in Syracuse in '87. Yeah, 143 strikeouts and 186 innings. That'll make any general manager take notice. Dave Valley for the Mariners. Manny Trio, the Cubs. Mike Lacoste for the Giants, and he'd been an Astro before that. Scott Melvin for the Pirates. I feel bad for Pirates fans. Jeff Blauser for the Braves. Scott May, another pitcher for the Rangers. MVP for the Mariners, Alvin Davis. Absolutely. He was definitely their MVP. 295 was his batting average, 18 home runs, 69 RBIs. The year after, he had 100 RBIs and 29 home runs. 95 walks, 53 strikeouts. That's some good patience at the plate. That'll get you good pitches to see, and that'll help you keep your batting average up. Nelson Lariano. Lariano played for a long time, as I remember it. And second baseman for the A's, Lance Blankenship. All right. There is the one player. The odds of me getting him are less than 50%, though, because there's 10 in a pack and 36 packs in the box. So odds are I'm not going to get him, if he's even in this set. All right. Just another 3. Missed nothing in that. Joe McGrain, pitcher. So again, more pitchers. Kevin Gross, also a pitcher, but they show him with his batting helmet on because, of course, National League. I never understood why you have DH in one and not in the other. I've always thought that's weird. I've always found it weird that baseball never just said, okay, we will or we won't have the DH. I'm pro DH, personally. I think it extends careers of power hitters who can't field anymore. I think it adds some flexibility to the lineup. Now, I will say this. If you're pro pitcher batting, yes, it definitely means that you have to be a little bit... It definitely adds to the intrigue when the pitcher's coming up to the plate. And what the manager's going to do. Do you pinch hit now? Do you pinch hit? When do you pinch hit? The game that I had on here yesterday, deciding when to pinch hit for the pitcher was something that I had to do, and I'm used to playing baseball games, so it's fine. I pretty much know when to do it. But it'd be interesting when you're watching a game and you go, well, I don't know if you want to pinch hit for the pitcher, because as soon as you do that, the pitcher's out, right? So the DH kind of takes that out of things. So for me, I'm pro DH, but that's me. Nick Osaski for the Reds. For the Padres, Chris Brown. He had 2 home runs, 19 RBIs, 235. He'd come over from the Giants the year before. Pitcher, Bob Walk. I remember Bob Walk. Yep, 12-10 with the Pirates that year. And for the Giants, one of the most fun names, Candy Maldonado. Played for the Jays at one point, didn't he? I think Candy Maldonado played for the Jays at one point. I'm pretty sure this is Joe Beaver. It's Boever, but I'm pretty sure it was pronounced Beaver for the Braves. Oh, one of my favorite pitchers, absolutely, for the Cubs, Rick Sutcliffe. Man, I loved Sutcliffe. And what I used to do too when I was a teenager mostly was I'd be watching a baseball game and I would try to pick where. Okay, now pitch him here. Now pitch him here. Now right there. Right? And I used to love doing that. I used to love calling where I thought the pitch should go. And there were certain pitchers that almost every pitch would go exactly where I wanted it to go. Sutcliffe was one of those guys that I was like, all right, now you've established your inside pitch. You've got him brushed off the plate. Now throw him a little bit away. Just put that pitch away and he'll swing. And beautiful. He totally missed that one. Bob Ojeda for the Mets. Mickey Brantley for the Mariners. May he rest in peace. And this wasn't too long ago that happened. But for the Blue Jays, Tony Fernandez. So Tony Fernandez, everybody loved Tony Fernandez. Anybody who says he didn't, they're lying. Tony Fernandez was fantastic. He could steal a base here and there. He had 15 stolen bases that year, 287 batting average. But overall, he just seemed like a great team guy. Seemed like a very popular guy. But my favorite pitchers back then, a lot of them were Braves, which I haven't pulled out of a pack yet, and I may not. I love Glavine. I think Glavine was one of my favorites all time. Jimmy Key, absolutely. I talk about Jimmy Key a lot. Rogers with the Expos. This would be after Rogers. This is '88, so I'm pretty sure Rogers was gone at that point. So Steve Rogers, Mark Langston, excellent arm on that guy. And of course Greg Maddux. I think if I had to say who I would pick as the best pitcher in the time I've watched baseball, I would have to go with Maddux. I would think. Maddux was just so smart. And the guys, and John Smoltz too, as they got older, those guys in Atlanta, they sort of reinvented themselves to stay in. So one thing that I've always liked, and I've talked about this with hockey, and it comes to baseball as well, where you get into the league being a certain player, and then to stay in the league, you become something else. So in Smoltz's case, he went from a pretty good number 3 starter, because it would have been Maddux, Glavine, and Smoltz. And then he transitioned into closer. And he was really good as a closer as well. So that was kind of fantastic to watch. And then Glavine was excellent. But Maddux for me was the best in that even when the fastball started to fade a little bit as you get older, you change up your game. And when a guy goes from a pure power pitcher to being more of a finesse ground ball pitcher, a guy who you're going to get the ball in play, but it's probably going to lead to a lot of double plays, I like that. And one thing that I think has caused me to kind of lose my love with baseball is, and I've talked about this in videos where I've talked about baseball too, is the opener thing they're doing now where a guy may pitch the first couple of innings and then you'll bring in somebody else for the next 2 or 3. And then somebody comes in for an inning. And then you might have a setup guy and a closer. But I don't know. I miss the arms. I miss when you'd see a pitcher go out there and pitch 230 innings a year. And that wasn't weird. And it just felt like that was the standard. And a guy could go out and pitch 7 innings every game. And that was fine. And in fact, anything less than 7 innings was considered to be kind of a short night. And now it's not unusual to see a pitcher pitch 5 innings and they go, well, he's had a good night. He's out. He's done now. He's at 80 pitches on his pitch count, so they're trying to make sure his arm's in good shape. So, and I understand why they do it, but for me, as a baseball fan that loves the pitching side of it, and I love the chess match that happens, and seeing, like, one of the things too that seems to have changed is now they're saying, well, a third time through the lineup, statistically, the team that's at bat's going to have a much easier time against the pitcher that third time through. Right. But there were great pitchers that could go 3 times through a lineup and still fool them that third time through. Because maybe you've got a nasty 2-finger or 2-seam fastball that you can throw. I was thinking 4-finger, but 2-seam fastball. And then the next time out, maybe you get him with a slider. And then the next time, like a guy who can throw 3 or 4 really good pitches. Right? Because if you can't throw 3 or 4 good pitches, you end up in the bullpen. Well, you just have a good fastball. Everything else sucks. You're going in the bullpen. You've got a really good slider, good curve. Maybe you'll be the closer. Maybe you don't have the stamina to go more than an inning or an inning and a half. So, well, inning and a third. I can't say inning and a half because that would mean 4 outs. We don't have 4 outs in baseball. But that's what I love with baseball, and that's why I got some baseball cards, and I thought it would be fun to look through them and just... Because this was, 88, that's right about where I was really, really into baseball. And keep in mind, I was 15 years of age, very into hockey, which you can see around me, but I was also very into baseball. So I know the concern has always been from fans of the Hockey Channel, if Shannon gets into baseball, what's he going to do with hockey? Well, There's no reason I can't do both because they do intersect with one another, but not by a lot. Not really. When baseball's really getting into it, it's the summer, and that's when hockey is starting to die off. One thought I always had with the hockey channel when it was starting up was that I could cover baseball during the summer, and then I did a couple of videos, and people are like, "Wait, what are you doing? This is a hockey channel. Why are you talking about baseball?" So this channel, the entertainment guy, is meant more for everything else, and so I have no problem talking about baseball, and trying to get back into it. It is hard though because the game that I loved, the game that I really enjoyed, is no longer the game that's played. And the way that pitchers are deployed now, it just makes it somewhat less interesting to me. So I'm going to have to go through and find other ways to get sort of interested in the pitching side of it. Because again, it's that just that pure matchup of pitcher versus batter, the psychology of it. And I used to love to watch guys like Richard Clemens that third time through the lineup, or Jack Morris. I didn't like Jack Morris. I thought he was kind of a jerk. But you know what? He won games. He won a ton of games. And maybe part of it is because he was a bit of a jerk. Although, you know, Greg Maddux, Randy Johnson would be on my list of favorite pitchers ever. Randy Johnson, absolutely fantastic. Just intimidating when he took the mound. And then Hoffman, the reliever for the San Diego Padres, and how every time he came out they played Back in Black, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm pretty sure it was Back in Black they played, and it was just or no, Hell's Bells. They played Hell's Bells, and you just felt like, yeah, here we go. I want to say Matt Hoffman. But I'm not sure about that. I can go back and look through all that and definitely get more baseball cards. But I'll have fun with these, and it'll definitely rattle the old noggin because I need to do that because I haven't been in a baseball state of mind for years, and with nothing on sports wise. But word being that all the sports are trying to figure out a way to play and figure something out to where they can actually have sports happen. And maybe using Taiwan as being an example of that. We'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic we will see some form of sport this summer, and I swear by all that is holy, I will cover it when it happens, because I'm now buying Donruss cards from 1989, which somebody's going to comment and say, I hope you didn't pay more than $1 for that box cards. But they're fun. I enjoy doing this. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, I'll go through and open the rest of these, and I'll let you guys know about the really big names I get out of this box. Right? There are some good rookies, of course, but they're worth maybe $1 at most. I would think maybe, and then it's a matter of who's giving me $1 for that. So, right? Anyways, thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a ton. I just thought this would be fun to do today. So there you go. The cards arrived today, and I thought it would be something fun to do. And thank you guys for all your support. This channel's growing nicely, quietly growing, right? You guys can let me know what you want to see in terms of content. I will post a poll about which video game you guys want to watch me play when I do the gaming streams, and we'll go from there. So yeah, there's some names in here I haven't even thought of for decades, and there they are. So one thought I had too was putting together my ultimate baseball team, going over all the years I watched baseball and who would be my starting rotation and who I'd have at the plate as in terms of catching, first base, third base, all of that. Who would be my ultimate favorites. So that's something that'll probably be coming up too. And hey, thanks again for all your support. I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Just remember, stay home as much as you can, stay as safe as possible, and we'll get through this. We'll do it. I'll talk to you again soon.